Hello and welcome back to Aussie Pension Update. If you're a pensioner, retiree, or even planning ahead for your retirement, today's video is one you don't want to miss. From September 2025, Australia's pension system is undergoing some important changes that could affect your payments, eligibility, and the way you manage your retirement income. Whether you're on the age pension, applying soon, or supporting someone who is, these updates will impact thousands of Australians. In this video, I'll break down exactly what's changing, who will benefit, and what you need to do right now to make sure you don't miss out on extra support. I'll also share a few tips that could help you prepare before the new rules take effect. So, grab a cuppa, stick around, and let's dive straight into the September 2025 pension update. You might be wondering, why are they changing the system now? Well, the government reckons these adjustments are necessary to maintain the sustainability of our pension system, especially with our aging population. The most significant change you'll notice is the increase in the asset test threshold for homeowners. Starting from September 2025, single homeowners can now have assets worth up to $320,000 before their pension starts reducing. That's a $50,000 increase from the current threshold. For couples who own their home, the new threshold will be $405,000. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is something many people have been asking about in our comments section. What about those of us who don't own our homes? Well, non-homeowners haven't been forgotten. The threshold for single non-homeowners will increase to $540,000, while couples who don't own their home will see their threshold rise to $625,000. These changes might seem like good news, but there's more to consider. Have you thought about how these new thresholds might affect your current pension payments? Speaking of payments, let's talk about the new deeming rates, and this is where things get a bit complex, so stay with me. The government has announced a significant adjustment to deeming rates, which will affect how your financial investments are assessed. The lower deeming rate will decrease to 0.25% for the first $53,600 for singles and $89,000 for couples. But here's the kicker: the upper deeming rate will increase to 2.75% for amounts above these thresholds. You might be thinking, how does this actually affect my fortnightly payments? Well, it depends on your specific circumstances, but for many pensioners, this could mean a difference of anywhere between $10 to $50 per fortnight. Now, here's something that's been causing quite a stir in our senior community: the changes to the work bonus scheme. The government has expanded this program to encourage more seniors to remain in the workforce part-time. Under the new rules, you can now earn up to $11,800 per year without affecting your pension. This is particularly relevant for those of you who've been asking, can I still do some casual work without losing my benefits? The answer is yes, and potentially more than before. Let's talk about healthcare concessions, because this is crucial for everyone on the pension. The good news is that the pensioner concession card benefits are being expanded. From September 2025, you'll get additional discounts on specialist visits and a wider range of prescription medications. But there's a catch: some previous bulk billing arrangements might change, depending on your location and healthcare provider. Have you checked with your local medical center about how these changes might affect your regular appointments? Here's something that many of you might not know about yet: the new pension supplement arrangements. The government is introducing a tiered system that takes into account not just your income and assets, but also your age and how long you've been receiving the pension. For those over 75, there's an additional supplement being introduced to help cover increasing living costs. This is particularly important given the rising energy prices and housing costs we've been seeing lately. One of the most frequent questions we've been getting is about overseas travel rules for pensioners. If you're planning to travel overseas after September 2025, listen carefully, because this is important. The new rules will allow you to be overseas for up to 26 weeks while receiving your full pension. That's an extra 6 weeks compared to the current rules. However, if you stay overseas longer, your pension will reduce by 25% after 26 weeks, and then by 50% after 36 weeks. This is quite different from the current system, so make sure to plan your extended holidays accordingly. Let's address the digital payment system because this is causing some concern among our older viewers. The government is pushing for more digital pension payments and online services. While this might worry some of you who prefer traditional methods, don't panic, they are not completely eliminating paper-based systems. But it's worth asking yourself, am I comfortable with digital banking? If not, now might be a good time to get familiar with these systems, and remember, your local Services Australia office can help you with this transition. Here's something that's particularly relevant for those of you with investment properties: the new rules around rental income assessment. Starting September 2025, only 60% of your rental income will be assessed for pension purposes, down from the current 70%. This change acknowledges the costs associated with maintaining rental properties. But remember to ask yourself, how does this interact with the new asset test thresholds? Because both factors will affect your overall pension calculation. Now, let's discuss the changes to the energy supplement. With rising electricity costs being a major concern, the government is introducing a new two-tier energy supplement system. The base rate will increase by $10 per fortnight, but there's also going to be an additional winter payment for those in colder regions. This raises an important question: how do I know which tier I fall into? The answer depends on your location and energy costs, so make sure to check your eligibility when these changes roll out. Some of you might be wondering about the changes to aged care assessment and how it relates to your pension. Well, there's going to be a new streamlined process for aged care assessments, and your pension status will now automatically be considered in these assessments. This means less paperwork and faster processing times for aged care services. But have you considered how these changes might affect your long-term care plans? Looking ahead to the future, these changes are just the beginning of a broader reform to Australia's pension system. The government has already hinted at further adjustments coming in 2026, particularly around superannuation integration and pension portability. This might leave you wondering, should I be adjusting my retirement strategy now? It's a valid question, and the answer really depends on your individual circumstances. Remember, these changes don't happen in isolation, they are part of a bigger picture that includes shifts in our healthcare system, aged care services, and broader economic policies. The key is to stay informed and proactive about understanding how these changes affect you personally. Have you started gathering your documentation and reviewing your current pension arrangements? If not, now's the time to start. As we wrap up this comprehensive look at the September 2025 pension changes, remember that everyone's situation is different. What works for your neighbor might not work for you. The most important thing is to stay informed and seek professional advice if you're unsure about how these changes will affect your specific circumstances. And don't forget, if you found this information helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more updates on Australian pension news and retirement planning. We'll be covering each of these changes in more detail in our upcoming videos, so stay tuned.